Hi guys, welcome back to my masterclass. Today we're going to be moving on to stocks and sauces. Hi guys, welcome back to my masterclass. Well done on making it this far. I hope the practice dishes went well and that you and your family enjoyed a lovely evening with those meals. If you need to, go back and practice them over and over again. One of the best ways to learn is through repetition. Now today we're going to be moving on to sauces, and the root of making good sauces is being able to make good stocks. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to make a beef stock and also how to make two very useful things for infusing any liquor or sauce that you approach in the future. The first is a bouquet garni, the second is an onion cloute, and I'll show you them later in the video. So make sure you watch to the end. So the ingredients that we need to prepare this stock is, first we need some bones. Now if you go to speak to your butcher, they might be nice enough to be able to give you some for free, although they do tend to charge these days a couple of quid for the joints that have the most bone marrow, which one gives the flavour and two adds the gelatin into the stock. So the first step that we need to take is to brown off the bones. We need to add colour. When it's coloured, that means it's caramelised. When it's caramelised, that means it's imparting flavour. Always remember, where there's colour there's flavour, and you won't go far wrong. I've got a pan on at the back here which has just got a little bit of oil in there. On about a medium heat. I'm just going to add our bones. Now these are going to take a few minutes to brown off, so don't be impatient. Don't rush this stage, just stir them every minute, 90 seconds. While those bones are just browning off, we can move on to preparing the vegetables that are going to be going into the stock. So the vegetables we have for this are onions, celery, carrots, garlic, and we've got a leek there, but I'll get to that a little bit later. So the first thing we're going to do, prepare the onion, top tail in half, and just peel the skin off. All the skin bits, you might see some chefs that advocate putting this into the stock. I was always taught that if you put rubbish into the stock, it becomes a rubbish bin. It tastes like a rubbish bin. And we don't want to put all this effort into something it's just going to taste naff. So we're going to keep it as a best practice. So rant over, just chop that up. It doesn't need to be small, just a rough cut is fine, just rough cubes. And the carrots, just top and tail, and again just good sized chunks. Celery exactly the same, and garlic just taking the skin off. Now the vegetables are chopped, we're ready to put this into the pan. So just add them to the bones and stir them together. So this is the part where we introduce the first trick that I referred to earlier. This will be the onion cloute. So what you need is half an onion, some bay leaves and some cloves. And what you're going to do, the half of the onion, and on the flat side place a bay leaf, pierce the leaf into the onion with the cloves using the long end, and put I'd say 5 in there, and that is an onion cloute. You'll see this more and more as we work our way through the sauces. So just pop that to one side for the moment. After a good few minutes, the vegetables will have also started to brown, so we now need to add a liquid to this to create the stock. So I'm just going to use a kettle full of water to make sure that the water you're putting in is cold and you haven't boiled it. You extract a lot more flavour from the meat and vegetables when you allow it to gradually heat. It tends to allow a lot more flavour to be released into the stock, which is what we want. So now we have the liquid in here, now is the time for us to add our onion. Just let the fluid gently cover it, leave it to simmer. Now the eagle-eyed will have spotted this pan here at the back, which has just got some simmering water in it. This is for trick number 2. We're going to be making a bouquet garni, which is essentially a bag of herbs that are going to infuse into the stock. Take a leek, top and tail, And at the join, just slice down so you can get just one layer off. Wash any mud that there might be on it off under a tap. Once that's done, it's good to go. Now you've got to this stage, this needs softening so that we can work with it. So just pop the leek into the water and just let that soften up for about 30 seconds. Once the leek has had its 30 seconds, you need to take it out and just plunge it into a bowl of cold water, as cold as possible. That's called refreshing, it just stops it cooking instantly. Now that leek should be cold enough to work with after a few seconds. Pull it out, just lay it on your chopping board. Take some parsley, some thyme, some rosemary, and just lay it on your leek like that. Fold each end in, so you're enclosing it, and roll it over. So you end up with a nice neat parcel. And take some string, and just tie that together. And now pop this into your stock and tie it to the handle. So later we can just retrieve it without any fuss. Now all of the components are inside the stock. What we need to do is leave it to simmer, so a low heat, and we will return to it in about an hour. So I've left this stock an hour, and the first observation is there's a bit of scum, a foam building up at the top of the stock. That's just fat and impurities. So what we're going to do now is clarify the stock and remove it. So arm yourself with a ladle and some sort of receptacle. For instance, I'm just going to use this bowl and just skim the top and catch as much fat as possible. And you can just get rid of that. So we're going to need to repeat this process 2 or 3 more times in 1 hour intervals for this quantity of stock. In a professional kitchen, you'd be doing huge 20 litre, 40 litre pans of it. So it can sometimes take a couple of days to reduce the stock down. But I can already see just after the first hour, the depth of the colour that's into the stock, almost the colour of a black tea, which is telling me that everything's starting to work and combine, and it's going to be a really good stock. Now it's been, where are we? We're 4 hours in. The stock's reduced down by about a third, which I'm quite happy with. The smell coming off it is really lovely and strong, so I know it's going to taste right before I even stick a spoon in there. What we need to do now is strain out all the bones and the vegetables. So you need a bowl, a pan, a jug, something that the liquid's going to fit into, and some sort of sieve or a chinois if you have one. What we're going to do is just ladle the stock through the chinois. So what we refer to as passing. I'm gonna have to write a bloody glossary for this video, I think. So this is our beef stock. We've got a couple of options of what we can do with it now. If we're going to be using it in the next couple of days, allow it to cool and just wrap it, keep it in the fridge. A little added bonus with putting it in the fridge is when it sets, the fats, any fats and impurities remaining in it will come to the surface and will harden, so you can just peel them off. It'll be set almost like butter. Another thing you can do if you were going to be using it over the long term is pour it into an ice cube tray, freeze them down, and you've got your own little stock cubes. But for the purposes of today, we've now made a beef stock. We've put this in the fridge. We will be using this very soon in the next few videos. Well then chefs, that's beef stock ticked off the list. If you want to look at the full course list, you can find it at my Patreon page, which I'll link in the description below. But I can tell you that the next couple of videos we'll be looking at a chicken stock and a vegetable stock and looking at the key differences there. If you've caught this just at random and you'd like to follow the course from the beginning, subscribe to the channel and look for my how to cook playlist. How with an E, you see what I did there. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next Monday. Thank fuck I didn't release these on a Tuesday.